So today we are back on third gen content. Today we are going to be doing the front track bar. I've had this for a very, very long time, probably longer than the mirrors. And I just haven't had time to put it on because it hasn't been that big of a concern. I was also trying to wait to get the rest of I wanted to do the newer style steering, linkage and everything in the front. So I was trying to wait and do this all at one time, but I decided I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I probably will have to adjust the steering wheel after this, and the truck's still going to need a line, but I still want to go ahead and do this. Also, if you're following along about that, I have not forgot about that car. I still need to schedule the back window. I still need to get the used tires put on. I do not want to pull the motor out of this because I'm getting ready to move, hopefully, eventually, and even with the motor knocking, it still does move around under its own power. So for the time being, I'm trying to make my life easier, and we have not forgot about this car. I promise you it will be going on the road. I guess a little bit about this. I've found a few other things that are wrong with the car other than the obvious, the motor and the window and the tires. None of the speakers work in it, which I'm going to have to look into that. I think there was a system in this at one point, so I don't know if they just if they cut the harness in the door. The passenger side airbag light is on. I'm going to see if I can order the harness for under the seat or find a used one, or I don't know if it's that stupid passenger side detection system that's in the seat, and I'm going to have to pull it apart, but that's another video. So back to this. When I got this, I did choose not to go with the upgraded bolt size. I know Thuren says that they don't suggest using the factory stuff because the factory bolts to them, they consider weak. However, my truck has 140,000 miles on it, and it's almost 20 years old. So I would imagine by this point, it's towed all kinds of stuff for me, and the previous owner has had, I think, a fifth wheel in the bed. So if it's made it 20 years and 140,000, we're just going to go ahead and send it with that. So obviously, they send you instructions and everything of what to do. We are going to have to measure this out, and you could tell from the directions roughly what it's going to be. So I have their 2-inch soft coils on the front. So we are going to measure straight line. So from here, we're not going to go with the curvature of it. From this heim joint to back here, just straight shot, and we're going to be doing 39 centimeters or 39 to center. On their website, they do offer a 33 millimeter crowfoot. That's $35. I went ahead and got one from Tecton. Offline, it was $27 free shipping. So not that I support them or anything, but I'm going with cheaper. So let me figure out what all we're going to need to take the old one off, and then we'll get underneath the front and I'll show you how to take it off. All right, so I'm going to try to do this one with one hand. I did back this joint out a little bit so I could put some red Loctite on it. Hold on one second. Let me actually set the tape measure up. So I went from about halfway through there to about halfway through there. The instruction says it doesn't have to be perfect, but closer the better. So I don't know if I can do this with one hand to show you. Hold on one second. There's that. So as you could tell, that's halfway. How if I quit moving? So one of the tricks that I've read online is if you have a hitch on the back of your truck, which obviously I do, go ahead and remove that, stick the end of the track bar through there with the pin from your hitch. This needed to come out anyway, it was rough. And you could torque it. So I think the torque specs on this, I believe, are 200 foot-pounds. Yeah, right there. So 200 foot-pounds. So let me get this put in there and I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'm gonna have to torque it off camera because I only have one hand. So I was lied to. That does not fit in the receiver of the truck. Actually, let me try the other way. I don't see how it would work though, even if you would have put the joint in there. I'm just gonna use the vise and hold it up, and then I have this set for 200 foot-pounds. So let me get this torqued. I'm gonna move the truck back and I'll show you what size you have, or what size the bolts are in the front. So from my understanding, whenever you do put the bottom one in first, I think you have to turn the wheel all the way to the left or the right, and it helps get the top bolt in. So let me get this torqued first before I crawl into there, and then we'll go from there. So laying underneath of the truck, this is on the passenger side, you have an 18mm bolt there, and then if you follow the track bar up, you'll see there's the other one right there. So when we install this, the heim joint is going to go down this way, and you're going to install with the Zerk fitting facing down. That way you're able to service it. So let me take this off. I'll show you the difference between the two and then see how hard this is to get in by myself. Okay, so the old one is out, and as you can tell the difference in the thickness between the two. I'm going to go ahead and say this was the original one. The rubber bushings in it are pretty bad, which is kind of weird because the front, really I didn't have that much slop in the front of this. I mean, for a Dodge, but I'm going to work on getting the other one in there. So far, the hardest thing that I've had to deal with was torquing it down, and my fingers are just cold from touching the metal. It's sat in my garage. The garage isn't heated, and I don't know, the car or the truck's probably, everything's like 30 degrees and it's cold on my fingers. So overall, install, at least so far, I'm going to see how bad it is to put this in there. I give it like a 2 out of 5. So let me get that back in there. I'm going to have to figure out the torque specs for the bolts, and then I'll show you what it looks like all finished up. Okay, so there's everything buttoned up. Online, I saw the torque specs for the bolts to be 150. Everyone online said pretty much go until you can't anymore. So I went to 175 pounds, and I mean, it's tight. If it comes loose, I'm not sure. So like I said, that according to Thuren, make sure that nut, the jam nut there, is torqued to 200. Looks really, really good under here. Let me see. Looks like the wheels are pointing straight. Slightly, actually they're slightly to the right. I'm curious to see how bad the steering wheel is. Actually, it's not that bad. Let me get everything cleaned up tool-wise. I'm gonna take it for a road trip and see how it feels, see if it's any different. One last part to this video before I go to the test drive on it. You're not supposed to actually put the track bar in there. You're supposed to run this or something along those lines through the actual track bar bolt hole, and then that's what keeps it. I guess I didn't think about that at the time, so just a little tip. So first impressions, it really, really tightened the steering up. Not that I had a whole lot of slop anyway, but it literally feels brand new. I did want to do the newer style 08 or 09 plus steering linkages, but just this track bar made a huge difference. Now, my wheel is slightly off-centered. I'm going around a corner here, but this is straight. So it's slightly to the right, but that's not that bad. I think for 400 bucks, like I said, I've already had their coils on the front. It was time to do their track bar. I've had this for a really, really long time. It's just I've been lazy, but I think one of the next mods is either the steering, or I would like to get their track bar. Or not their track bar, I apologize, the sway bar. I really think it would help with the ride and everything of these, but overall for $400, I don't regret not going to the bigger bolt size. Other than the torque specs, that's kind of the worst part of the whole job, but highly recommend it. So thanks for watching the video. Subscribe, like, and if you got any comments, message below.